Hey guys, Coach Royce here. Today I want to talk to you about a subject that is near and dear to my heart, and that is alcohol consumption and fat loss. So let me just start from the top. Alcohol is 7 calories per gram. Now I know what you're all thinking. For most of you that have fat loss goals or body composition goals, you are probably counting calories in one way or another, whether it be a calorie counting software, a paper and pencil, or even Weight Watchers. You're counting calories in one way or another to get to your goal. You're probably thinking, well, I can just budget those calories into my calorie budget, right? And it won't count. Well, sorry, it doesn't quite work that way. I'll try to explain why. So when you ingest alcohol, 20% of it is absorbed in your stomach and the other 80% in the small intestine. And the reason I put that on there is because if there's anything in your stomach, it can slow your body's ability to metabolize the alcohol at the speed that you think it's going to. So you probably heard before, you metabolize about 1 drink per hour. That's only partly true. It depends on what's in the stomach. It also depends on the size of the individual and how much muscle mass they're carrying and things like that. Anyway, metabolism. Listen up. Alcohol is a toxin. Your body can store carbohydrates in the form of glycogen. It can store proteins. It can store fat, obviously, but it cannot store alcohol. It has to burn it immediately. So that's what the liver does. You burn about 5% of it through your breath, about 5% gets excreted in your urine, and about 5% in your sweat, and the remaining 85% is oxidized by the liver. So with that said, the liver has to stop all other processes to oxidize alcohol, so your metabolism literally slows down, your metabolism of the nutrients that are in your stomach. And let's just assume that you're attempting to eat really well, and then you drink. Well, your efforts are kind of null and void if you drink, so to speak, because your body's not going to metabolize those nutrients as efficiently, or really even at all, until it's metabolized the alcohol. So what does that mean? The food just sits there in the stomach. You get malabsorption, maldigestion, malnourishment because you're not getting the nutrients that you need, especially if you're on some sort of a training program and you really need those macronutrients and nourishment. And the food sits there and you're at very, very high risk for body fat storage because the body didn't do anything with those nutrients while it was trying to digest the alcohol. And another bad thing is hormones. When you ingest alcohol, you get a suppression of testosterone and an increase in cortisol, and for those of you who follow me, you know that those are both bad things when it comes to fat loss. Women, you need testosterone. It's very important for muscle mass preservation and body fat oxidation. And cortisol is a bad thing because it's a catabolic hormone, and you will literally burn up muscle tissue if you have too much cortisol or elevated cortisol levels. So what do? Well, common questions that I get are, how much should I drink? What type of alcohol would be better? And how many days a week, frequency, things like that. Well, here's an example. This is a glass of wine, right? Pretty typical, probably looks like an average size glass of wine. Well, this is actually 8 ounces of wine. And for most of you that think this is 1 glass, this is 2 glasses. This is 1 light beer. And the difference between these 2 drinks is obviously the wine has a higher concentration of alcohol, beer has less of the concentration, but this is about 1 serving of alcohol. This is about 2 servings of alcohol. So what's the better choice? Well, really, you really should watch your overall calorie intake, obviously, because you have to burn those calories one way or another. Beer would be a better option with calorie density being less calories. This is about 160 calories. This is closer to 200 plus. If you're going to go with liquor, you're better off to go with clear liquors and mixers that are sugar-free or low in calories, things like that. Question of frequency. Now, if you're serious about your weight loss goals, guys, you've got to get real about drinking. You can't drink 3 or 4 nights a week, several drinks. It doesn't work that way for many, many reasons. Not just the slowing of metabolism, but you also get the dehydrating effect. And no matter how hydrated you are, when you drink, it's going to dehydrate you. It's going to dehydrate the cells in the body, in the brain. That's why you get a hangover. That's dehydration. So what I recommend to you guys is I'll give you my professional opinion for drinking. My professional opinion is if you are serious about your weight loss goals, if you are very serious, you need to limit, if not eliminate, alcohol consumption. When I'm serious about my goals, I drink once a week, maybe. It might be once every other week. I encourage you to get a good coach that can guide you calorie-wise and what the appropriate amount of drinking is for your goals. Or just talk to people, guys. Talk to people who have hit their weight loss goals, have hit their body composition goals. Talk to athletes. Talk to people who are really serious about their goals and find out how much they drink. And you're going to find out that these people don't drink very often. So get real, guys. If you really want to get in shape, you got to think seriously about your alcohol consumption. Now, if you excuse me, I have a party to get to. Thanks for watching my video, guys. I'll see you next time.